They're thinking of new ways to injure and humiliate and degrade their political opponents, make it impossible for them to work again, throw them in jail, destroy their lives.
So Jefferson County man has been charged with criminal offenses related to the January 6th riot at the U.S. Capitol.
God bless the United States of America.
Well, Stephen Billingsley.
Stephen Billingsley.
Stephen C. Billingsley.
Charged in connection with the January 6th Capitol riot.
Yep, they stormed my house around, I don't know, between 6 and 6:15 a.m. To go inside and to tear stuff up, that wasn't my intention. And a lot of people I knew that wasn't their intention. A lot of them was to go in there and to go around the Capitol and make our voices heard.
Hello, this is your host, Ryan J. Today we have with us for an all-exclusive interview, Steve Billingsley. Steve has been publicly humiliated, defamed, and slandered by our government and news media. They dragged Steve's name through the mud. They told lies about him. They tried to ruin his life. In this epic interview, we will uncover Steve's truth about January 6th. We will detail what life has been like for Steve. Okay, so Steve, how are you doing?
Oh, we're doing just peachy, right?
All right, so let's get right to it. On the day of January 5th, you embarked on a trip to Washington, D.C. for a protest at the U.S. Capitol called Stop the Steal. What was your goal upon attending the protest on the 6th?
First thing is, they says that we went down there on the 5th when I did not go down there on the 5th. I went down there on the 6th. I even corrected this with the judge. They like to lie and make up stuff and drag the truth out.
Okay, so on the day of January 6th, that morning, when you attended the rally amongst hundreds of thousands of other Trump supporters, what was the feeling in the air? Was it a feeling of peace, a feeling of contempt for government, or a feeling of anger?
It was a feeling of peace, and it was a feeling of, how you want to put it, where everybody feels as one. It was all nationalities.
Unified.
It was unified. Yeah, that's how you would put it. It was unified, and it was completely peaceful for the first hour and a half I was there.
Okay, so after that hour and a half, what transpired?
Well, what transpired, we watched Trump speak, and we decided that we were going to, he said he was going to the Capitol. Well, since we wanted to try to get close to the motorcade because we thought they were going to take him to the Capitol, so we left about 10 minutes before the speech ended and headed towards the Capitol. As we walked to the Capitol, it was completely peaceful, just like any march you had been to. Going down, what is it, Constitutional Boulevard? I have no clue.
Yeah, Pennsylvania Avenue. Okay, so around that time, about 1:30, on the rear of the steps of the Capitol, it was said that protesters overcame police and broke through the barrier, forcing police to retreat inside the Capitol. Did you witness this? Were you there?
What I witnessed was when I had arrived at the Capitol, just like what's in my videos, if anybody has them, and I still have them videos. When I arrived at the Capitol, the gates had already been breached, and they was up in there on the side they were doing construction.
Gotcha.
Me and my sufficient other, Jamie, was on that side, and when the cops came out and started pepper spraying the crowd stuff, we decided to back off because we wasn't about the violence. So there was a lot that happened before 2 p.m. there. We had retreated to the other side to where we had been on the grounds, and I decided that I just wanted to go up the steps. I never went inside, and I went up the steps. Now, what made me leave at 2 p.m. was Jamie had to go to the bathroom. See, this was never brought up. Everybody thinks I was down there when they all went inside. We had left the whole time when they had breached inside the Capitol.
So you weren't even on the grounds.
Wasn't even on the grounds when they entered the Capitol.
But you were still charged with
disorderly conduct and trespassing, but which I never got charged.
Unrestricted property.
At the end here, I only got charged with 1 count of disorderly conduct.
Okay.
Because I was out there yelling obscene language, and I mean, maybe, you know, did I say stuff that I shouldn't have said that day? Maybe, but it was just noise. That's all it was.
Right. It was like more or less heat of the moment type deal.
Yep.
Gotcha. And you know, we've all been there. We've all been there where we said stupid stuff, and we all, you know.
I'm 46 years old. I'm not going to hurt nobody.
Okay, so after January 6th, did you go home, or did you stay in D.C. that night?
I stayed in D.C. January 6th because we wanted to get up and tour the Arlington Cemetery, which we got to Arlington Cemetery the next morning, and it was closed due to COVID. Now, you tell me all the people in there were going to catch COVID. I have no clue how they were going to do that. But they wouldn't let us in because of COVID.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge place outside. Yeah. You know,
I didn't know anybody in there could catch COVID.
Yeah. Okay, so after your adventures of January 6th, did you believe or think that at any time the FBI and Capitol Police would track you down and arrest you?
Absolutely not. I had no clue of it, but as time went on, I had a buddy that got arrested, but he had went inside. And he had called and told me, I don't think you have anything to worry about, Steve.
Because, you know, you were not inside the Capitol.
No,
you
did not go inside the Capitol.
Therefore, who would think that something like that would happen to them from standing outside? You know,
at the end of the day,
crazy.
At the end of the day, all they could charge me with was disorderly conduct because of a few sentences I said.
Right.
But I really did not do anything wrong down there.
Oh, man, you know what? They're getting everybody, all of them, for everything they can. I mean, grandmas, grandpas, war veterans. I mean, it don't matter.
They don't care if you're 85 years old. They're coming in just like they came in my house.
And how did they come in your house?
Just like they did Trump's. Just like they went into
full-on raid.
Full-on raid. SWAT team, roads closed down, SUVs all the way down my driveway,
wow.
FBI all the way around the house with ARs, wow. Drones in the air.
I talk about overkill, huh?
Over disorderly conduct.
Wow, that's crazy.
And as a Democrat, if I was a Democrat, in which I have Democratic neighbors, which support me 100%, and they think that this was way, way, way overboard. There's no reason why they need to waste all of our taxpayer money going after people with misdemeanors. You could send them a letter, anything, to come meet you.
Right.
But to send a whole SWAT team in to arrest a misdemeanor?
Right. And you know what? I believe that the majority of sane-thinking people with 2 working brain cells in their head agrees with everything you're saying. You know, they know it was a bunch of BS.
If you broke windows, which I didn't, if you busted doors or went inside and caused chaos,
you know, and
that's
the thing, because the summer of 2020 and
we had
into 2021,
federal buildings being lit on fire.
Yeah, we had police stations up in flames. We had federal courthouses being bombarded and destroyed. You know, BLM and Antifa protesters. Not a word. Not a word. Why don't they go round up these people like they did January 6th?
I mean, Chicago should be fixed, but Mayor Lightfoot thinks there's nothing wrong.
Yeah. Mayor Lightfoot's she's a piece of work, but okay. So, Steve, WTRF7, WTOV9, OhioValleyNews.com, Herald Star, Times Leader, and the federal government itself put out many half-truths and full-fledged lies about you. They tried to damage your reputation, Steve. What do you have to say to these fake news leftist propaganda networks?
They will never hurt my reputation. To me, I don't have a reputation. I'm just a normal guy that does not have 60-something guns. I wish I did. Drug addict?
I think one point said you had 120 guns that were confiscated.
60, 65, I don't know. But I don't have that many guns, which I have none now but one. So,
right, and that's for what? Deer hunting, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I gave all the other ones to my buddies.
What was life like for you after your arrest and before your sentencing? Was it harder to survive? Were you working? Did you lose your job?
Yes, I lost my job.
Was it because of this? Because of the January 6th thing?
Yes. I had been there for 11 years, and I was one of the top guys in that company. And they decided that they wasn't going to bring me back because of the FBI accusations they had.
Wow.
But it's nothing. I found another job.
So you are back to work?
Yes.
Good.
I work, and, I mean, are we all rich? I got bills just like everybody else. I got to pay taxes, too.
After your conviction, it was released that you were sentenced to 24 months of probation and fines occurring of up to $525. The charges were listed as knowingly entering or remaining in any restricted building or grounds without lawful authority. Was the outcome of this sentencing satisfactory to you in regards to the fact that things could have been much worse?
I think the 24 months probation was...
Or do you think this is all overkill as well?
I think it was overkill because I've been on pretty well pre-trial probation since the day that they arrested me. I have been reporting to an officer.
So it's been well over a year, pretty much.
I've been reporting
probation.
a year and a half. I've already been reporting to an officer, doing drug screens whenever they would like them, and they've done several of them.
So that's basically probation.
Yeah.
That's the same concept. It's just not on paper yet.
Well, actually, the probation is a little bit easier now. Everybody wants to know. The probation officer told me, and I know if he sees this, he says, I don't have to contact him. Stay out of trouble. That's
you know, when everywhere from the arresting officers to the people you've had to deal with throughout all of this, have they been...
They think this is all nonsense.
They do?
Yes.
So they've been somewhat helpful to you.
My probation officer came to my house, and he says, I won't be coming back here. He says, I'm done wasting taxpayer money on this.
Yeah, see, they know it's nonsense as well. And do you believe that the January 6thers that were tracked down like yourself, privately and solitarily confined and held by the U.S. government, do you consider them as political prisoners?
Yes.
Why is that?
They need to be let out.
You know, it almost seems like...
There's a day and a time in court, but when somebody is not a threat to society, you don't need to hold them into a maximum security prison.
Yeah, and you know what? Some of these guys, they're still in there almost a year and a half, 2 years later, aren't allowed to talk to their lawyers, aren't allowed to see their families. We don't know if some of them are dead or alive.
No.
You know, and anybody that can see the bigger picture here, like I said, anybody with two working brain cells, they can see and they can tell that it's all a political stunt by the swamp.
And for fines, I never got charged with any fine. I got charged $500 restitution, which all the misdemeanor people get that.
So it wasn't a fine, it was restitution.
And a felony gets $2,000 restitution. And the $25 was for court costs. Now, you tell me how $25 equals up to 18 times in court, it felt like.
Right.
But,
and, you know, the lives of so many people were destroyed by the U.S. government for simply exercising our rights to protest on the grounds and our rights of free speech. And you know what? Really, in all reality, free speech is free speech. We should be able to say the most heinous things, as long as it isn't against the law. You know, and this goes right back to the fact of people say things in the heat of the moment. We're all guilty of it. We've all done it. We've all said stuff we regret.
Oh, trust me, we've all been there. I mean, I don't regret going there, no. I'll never regret going there because I went down there as a tourist.
Right.
I went down there to go to a rally. I didn't go down there to interfere with the government. I don't know. I mean, how do you do that?
But,
how does one person interfere with the government?
And you know, they call it insurrection. Insurrection. Nobody, not one person has been charged with insurrection.
I've never even had a pocket knife.
It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. And you know, with many others having had it worse than you over this, do you feel fortunate that you did not go into the Capitol? Do you feel thankful that you did not?
Well, I know people that went into the Capitol and have never been charged. I know a couple women that were completely peaceful, and they had visits from the FBI, and they told them what they did was wrong, but they wasn't going to charge them.
Right.
Yeah.
And you know,
they didn't charge everybody when there, but you know, when you're carrying the podium out.
Yeah. And you know, one of the last things, Ashley Babbitt. Let's not forget Ashley. She was savagely murdered by Capitol Police
and
inside
people
the Capitol.
Believe it, but I seen two guys that had blood on their hands. Me and Jamie both seen it.
Really?
Blood.
You think that was Ashley's blood?
Yes, it was. They tried to save her. They told us that they were sitting next to her when she got shot.
Wow.
So, and I hear people, oh, that's a conspiracy. Well, no, I did not see her body with my own eyes, but I seen enough evidence.
Yeah, me too. You know what? Anybody can do the research and see it for themselves. There's video of it from six different angles.
How do you know what the husband didn't do?
Yeah, exactly.
It's none of nobody's business how somebody mourns.
He was on live TV talking about it a year later. You know.
Yeah. Should that cop been charged? Absolutely.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Accountability. Absolutely, amen. You know, Ashley was a mother. She was a wife. She was a war veteran. Ashley loved her country.
That's right.
She loved our President Trump. Ashley, like so many other people on that day, took to a protest to air their grievances over government corruption and what they believed was a theft of our 2020 presidential election by the Washington elite after Biden was declared winner. Now, when did you first hear about Ashley, and what were your thoughts? Like, what come across your mind that day?
When they had shot and killed somebody, it kind of made me glad that I wasn't inside, because that could have been me. It could have been Jamie. But
right.
That was one of the reasons why we never got involved in getting violent there, because, for one, Jamie was scared that I could get shot. I seen a guy have a seizure out there and die.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
I wasn't about the violence. I didn't want to see violence.
Yeah. As I'm sure that, I can't say all, but as I'm sure that most others did that day, they were there, like I said, to air their grievances with the government in a peaceful manner, in a protest.
Do I think someone interfered and helped rev us up? Absolutely. But do I have proof? No, but I've seen some stuff that I don't agree with, and I believe that they wasn't on our side.
Well, I can't say, but we all know, we've all seen the videos.
That's right.
We have all seen the truth, and we're not dumb. We're not dumb like they think we are. We know what's going on. We know what happened that day.
If you have ever been to D.C. for anything, and you was a conservative, they have law.
Why did Nancy Pelosi, why do you think she
denied security?
20,000 National Guardsmen that
Trump
wanted.
If National Guard around that Capitol, what happened would have never happened.
Trump wanted National Guard. Nancy Pelosi denied it. There's a reason for that. We're not going to get into that. But, okay, so when Ashley Babbitt, when you heard about it, how did you hear about it? Did you hear the gunshots? Did you hear from other people? No, I did not hear gunshots. I told you I was never close enough to the Capitol to even get inside. I went up on the steps one time. I looked in the window, and the cop was right there at the doorway, and he never even looked at me violently. And Jamie come out and got and said, all right, you did what you're going to do. Let's get out of here. And we had left. Never went back. We went back. You'll see in my videos. We went back, and we went on the grounds, but they was right. People was already pushing out, so why even go up in that? So we went out and backed out. And, you know, let's all of us, the viewers, my subscribers, you, me, all of us, everyone watching, everyone hearing, take 2 seconds. Take 2 seconds of your day to thank Ashley Babbitt for what she did and to pray for her and her family. Ashley Babbitt is a true hero and a true patriotic American.
What her family went through, no family should go through that. It happened. It's over. Do I think that they should be dragging this on?
No.
I think they already dropped the subpoena on Trump because Trump didn't do nothing.
No,
he never caused a minute of that.
No. In his speech, and there's video of it absolutely everywhere, they could say he incited violence, he incited insurrection, they could say whatever they want, but if you watch that speech, he clearly said, peacefully march to the Capitol, quote unquote. And
I think it's hilarious that they can mess with a man so much.
Because he fights for you. Steel. He fights for me. He fights for all of us.
But the man is made of steel. There's nothing that puts him down.
He keeps coming back from the dead every time.
Because he's innocent every time.
He comes back stronger every time. Okay, so is there anything that you would like to add that I might have left out that you feel is important to tell the viewers?
I really believe that now that the Republicans are going to be leading the House, and if they actually do an investigation, the American people are going to realize who was all behind it.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's huge. Like I said, we need to have oversight. And you know what? Jim Jordan is the guy for the job. Everybody's talking about they want Jim Jordan to be speaker.
And I really think that the investigation, if they have one, wouldn't be long.
Yeah.
They already know what happened.
Is there anything that you would like to add that I might have left out that you feel is important to tell the viewers?
I really believe that now that the Republicans are going to be leading the House, and if they actually do an investigation, the American people are going to realize who was all behind it.
Steve, we thank you for taking the time with us here at CCE2 to talk with us about the truth of January 6th and surrounding events that were related to the protests on the Capitol. We thank you for shedding light on your story and giving us your take on the situation. Steve, until next time, thank you, buddy.
Thank you. Thank everybody for watching.